everyone. I hope everyone is doing great because I am. Okay, so today the topic is how we view the opposite sex. And also, like, when you question that, how do we view the opposite sex? That question itself is a very important question because, it would dictate a lot of our actions. So asking myself, how do I view the opposite sex? Okay, so I just want to, testify a little bit before we dig in. When I was in high school, I ended up falling in love with the thought of him loving me for who I was and not for my body. But he, just being transparent, he was like so into porn and, seeing the things that these strange women do and stuff like that. So he really didn't see me for being like a genuine person or my personality. He didn't get to really see how lit my personality was because he was so focused on what can I do, or, he was highlighting my body parts because that was his appetite. In reality, that's not, how it's supposed to be, because in the beginning, Adam did not see Eve, for her physical. Neither did Eve, get distracted by Adam's sexuality, So when God created Eve for Adam, he genuinely wanted to bond with her, to get close to her, to get to know her, as an individual. So, thinking about it, what God wanted was for men to love a woman outside of the physical attraction. That's, really important because at the end of the day, just thinking about me, I wouldn't want somebody to fall in love with how I look, that they miss, my characteristics that make up me and all of that, because at the end of the day, sometimes you can get so, caught up in how a person look that you ignore red flags. Like, I'm not saying I have a bad attitude, but I'm just saying I don't want a person to get caught up with, how beautiful I am on my physical, that my insides does not match. I have a bad attitude. I don't know how to talk to people, stuff like that we miss. Okay? So, it wasn't always like this, how we see the opposite sex, because now sometimes we can look at a person and we see something totally different because of the society we live in today. But when I think about in the beginning, Adam and Eve, they were naked around each other, booty butt naked. I mean, so it's just like at one point it was not her sexuality, or his sexuality was not highlighted. You get what I'm saying? Because it was deeper than that. Getting to know a person for who they actually are mattered more. I'm not saying that God did not create, attraction, but, the physical did not outweigh, a person's personality or their characteristics that make up them. That's what I'm trying to say. So when Eve and Adam fell, their eyes were open to many things. In Genesis, the 4th chapter, Adam knew his wife and she conceived. So when you hear that, you knew, you have to know that attraction had to take place. And if anyone don't know what conceive means, the definition is pretty much to become pregnant. And it takes two to tango. You know what that means. I'm not going to lay down with anybody, that I'm not attracted to. You get what I'm saying? So, and I'm pretty sure people I'm not even going to use me as an example because I'm not married, so I'm not going to be laying down with no one. But for the married people, I'm pretty sure that they didn't, get married to a person that it was some attraction. That's what I'm trying to say. Some attraction that took place. Okay, so she became pregnant. Okay, so when you focus on the humanity of a person and not the sexuality of them, you will notice that you will become more attracted to who they really are. You can dig deep into the things they like. You can honestly see that person differently. That, the sexuality of them would not be highlighted. And that will also empower you, as a young lady, when you can see a young man, not for his physical attraction, but what he possesses in the inside, that can empower you because you see beyond his sexual part. Because now today, all of that is highlighted. Victory over sexual temptation is to conquer the feeling or the urge to want to value only the sexual parts. Now, two questions that you can ask yourself is, when you look at a man, what do you think? And another question is, how long before you think sex? Now, just being honest, I can admit, at times in my life, when I looked at a man, because my appetite was different and I did not value myself, so when I did look at a man, I kind of, oh, he looked good, And, it was like, just being honest, like, seeing him, it was not, oh, I think he's a smart fella. No, I seen his physical attraction, and that's what my eyes started, looking after. I'm not saying that you cannot be attracted to a person physically and not lust, because I can think someone is handsome and not want them, not one bit. Okay? Okay, so in today's society, sexual lust of the body parts have been more highlighted above others. Okay, so when being in a person's presence, you cannot help but to think about their sexual parts. And then sometimes you can even find yourself staring at them, or staring at the sexual parts. Now, the way we dress, I can honestly say, plays a big role, in a lot of this. I'm just going to testify. When I was in the world, I used to dress real, provocative, sexual. I showed my body, as in, like, I showed the parts that's supposed to be kept sacred. I pretty much highlighted those areas. I did not value myself, but I also attracted the wrong attention, So, ladies, I'm just going to say, do not expect a man to fall in love with your personality when you're only broadcasting your butt, your breast, your lips, your thighs, and etc. Okay? Because at the end of the day, you're not giving him something to value, because you're showing everything. You know what I'm saying? And just speaking on chaperones, they are important because it'll keep him in a box to only see you for you. Because sometimes when we go outside of that, hey, we're alone now. We don't really have another set of eyes to watch us, because the flesh is a mess and it will do, especially when two are attracted to each other already. You don't know what you would do. So don't ever say never. But just saying, you cannot expect a person to want to fall in love with you when you're showing something else. Not saying that you cannot be a good girl. Put it like this. It can be a virgin, never had sex a day in her life. But if she dressed like a hoe, she going to get perceived as one. Like, at the end of the day, so you have to really walk, okay, and carry yourself how you want to be treated. So when I wasn't saved, I noticed even though I dressed revealing, I was loving outside of my emotions, but the other wasn't. I knew I was a helper at heart, but my nakedness overshadowed my personality. He seen my provocative poses, so he automatically wanted, what I displayed. I didn't give him something, to value, because I didn't value myself. So don't give them something to lust on. Be mindful of what you do and how you carry yourself, how you talk, how you walk, all of that. Be mindful of it, okay? Now, Adam saw Eve, but he didn't see her nakedness. Now, think about that. Okay, so Adam seen Eve, and she was naked. Now, she was naked. But he did not see her for her nakedness. That's powerful. So we will have to learn to see, but not to see. Now, in Matthew chapter 13 and verse 13, it reads, Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. So it is possible to see but not to see. Okay, so one of the first things to take place, in many cases is eye contact. But I'm going to go to, your eyes can really get you in trouble. Like, my eyes have got me in trouble. Your eyes can really, they can even be full of adultery. Your eyes can play a major part in a sin issue. And when you think about it, one of the first things to take place when one individual have an interest with another is eye contact. The eye contact can be interest or it can be lustful, but that depends on however that person perceive it or what they're displaying at that moment. Okay, so there is a saying to undress. There is a saying stating that to undress her with his eyes. So I'm pretty sure you heard that saying too. Oh, he undressing her with his eyes. I heard it several times. And, us women do it. It can become a battle as well. Growing up hearing, not even just growing up. I'm going to say like in my early adult years, I'm a young adult now, but like in my teenage years. Oh, he cute. Oh, he have nice lips. When I said he had nice lips, I wasn't thinking about, oh, he just have nice lips. I was more so going beyond that. I seen other things, or even child, like, oh, when he wear them gray sweatpants, I seen that on social media that gray sweatpants have been highlighted the most because, it shows that part of a man. It shows his legs, it shows, that part. And, sometimes, that itself can be a battle. So a question to ask yourself is, what am I going to do with my eyes when I see, an attractive male? What am I going to do with my eyes? So when I'm looking, it's more so like, okay, now I'm aware that, my eyes can wander in places and, it can put thoughts and it may just wake up something in me. So we have to understand that, your eyes can get you in trouble. And that's just something to know automatically. I did not understand many things like when I was in the world. And I was blinded. As I said before, the way I was, I was showing my body, as in, dressing a certain way, not covering my parts. And in my mind, I'm saying, wow, nobody really cherished me, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, I'm so happy that God let me see myself, because one day I looked at myself and I was like, you don't even cherish you. Look at you. You're settling for anything, falling. You just falling. Look at you, girl. Look how you dressing. And you really want to demand respect. But look how you treating yourself. So I had to like wake up. Look what you posting. Look how you talk. Look what you showing that individual. So I had to look at myself for who I really was and where I was at that moment. So that's why it's so important to be real with yourself and to know, who you are as a person. Because I know many women want a dude to fall in love with who they are and not, their body. To really sit there and have a conversation, to enjoy a person's presence without anything sexual popping up. And it can be done. It's just that now we live in society and, it has broadcast and highlighted, women with big butts, now the the stars, the celebrities or whatnot, they look a certain way. And that's how many people portray that women's supposed to look, so now everything is highlighted to get bigger butts. Now the women here that's not celebrities are trying to be seen in that way, thinking that's what matters the most, and that's not true. You know what I'm saying? So now you giving males to look at you as, well, that's really all she have to offer, because ain't no way you finna go buy a big butt and you don't want it to be seen. You originally got it because you want it to be seen. So now that you got the attention that you wanted, it's not going to be the attention that you actually wanted. You know, you're going to get attention, but it's going to be only highlighted on what you highlighted. You know, hearing that, you know, you have to have sex. I done even encountered people, well, how would you marry somebody and you never had sex with them? How you know you're going to enjoy? I heard that. But at the end of the day, ladies, you do not have to open your legs to not one person. You do not have to degrade yourself. He do not have to feel you, you know, or anything like that before marriage. You know, stay a virgin. Listen, keep your legs closed, because at the end of the day, if a man cannot respect you for who you are, then he's simply not the one. You get what I'm saying? So it can be done that a person can fall in love with who you are and see who you really are. Like, it's possible. It's just that now, you know, in today's society, you know, everything has shifted to a whole nother level. And I can honestly say, you know, if you get caught up in society, you will find yourself going down that path. But when you ask yourself these questions, you know, honestly, I look at it as, okay, I don't want a man to look at me and be like, oh, I want to hit that. You know, I don't want them to perceive that. So I don't want to look at a man and be like, I wonder what he can do. You know what I'm saying? So my mindset, because I really want to see a person for who they are. Because listen, yes, you got to be attracted to a person, but I done met him and was not attracted to him once I got to know who he actually was, because what he possessed was so little. Sometimes we can get caught, you know, like a gift. I can wrap up something that's so toxic and nasty on the inside, you know, but the wrapper itself looks so good that you're excited to get it. But when you open it, you see that it reveals something different. So at the end of the day, don't get so caught up in just what you see, because it can get you in trouble. But when you truly look at a person for who they are, you know, to actually hear them talk, you know, because sometimes people can get so caught up into a dude and realize that he don't even know how to hold a conversation. But you just so caught up and don't realize that he only said good morning and what you're doing for 18 months. You know, you don't even realize, because you're so caught up, oh, he look good. You know, he talk to me every morning. But when you really see, he ain't talk about nothing. All he's saying is good morning and what you doing. So once again, like, get to know a person. But you were so caught up that you didn't realize that he can't even have a conversation. You know, he can't even sit down and talk to you for 30 minutes because he don't know how to keep a conversation going. He don't know how to interact. So I'm just so thankful, because when God put me out the world, it's like he showed me so much more. Like, even when I was still in the world and I wasn't saved, God started revealing things to me. And when I started seeing that, you know, what I was doing to myself, or, you know, giving people that way to perceive me, I started caring how I carried myself. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I can't expect nobody to love something that I don't even cherish, you know? So I wanted to love me, not for another person to love me, but more so because I just lacked it. You know, I needed to love me. I wanted to love me, get up and wake up and look in the mirror. So when I started worrying about how I carried myself, and, you know, watching how I talk, and, you know, watching how I walk, and not trying to let dudes lust after me and stuff like that, honestly, it built up a different type of confidence for me. You get what I'm saying? So you have to be careful now, because I done heard it. I done did it. You know, you can really sit up here and be like, why he always in my inbox? Why he always doing this? But then go look what you posted on your stories, sis. You just posted a whole twerking video. You just post a picture of you literally turned around, booty all out. And then you asking why, you know, is he coming to you? Why he always in your inbox? Well, obviously he's attracted to something. And what you're portraying, you know, is something, you know, so you're attracting that attention. You know, so I'm I'm thankful, because it makes me examine myself. You know, I watch when, look, know who you are. Ask yourself, where do your eyes go when you see a person? And how long do you think about sex? How long before you think about sex? This stuff is real. Sometimes we don't really like, of course, I'm not finna just sit up here and tell my sister, child, when I looked at him, I was around him. We was on a little date. We was bowling. And I instantly thought of sex. Who finna sit around and talk about that? But it happens that in our mind, sex do pop up sometimes. But it's at the end of the day, when you can go beyond the sexual parts of a person and just truly get to know them, it's like sex be all the way to the left because you're focused on the conversation, getting to know that person, for who they really are, what make up them. So now it's just like, as a young lady, as I'm growing, on this journey with God, I like to examine myself. I have to examine myself a lot because it's not because I do come out the world. I've been in the world pretty much all my life except for 2 years. So it's just like I want to be saved, but it's like, okay, I was so used to living a certain way. So it's some habits that I had to break. It's some habits you're going to have to break. You're going to have to break how you look at people. You're going to have to break those things because honestly, I enjoy going to the club and being provocative, smiling with my eyes, talking with my eyes. I enjoyed that. I really did when I was in the world. But I was giving men something to lust after. The Bible also speaks about that. So we have to really, 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 really be careful on how, we carry ourselves as ladies because we don't want to be something to get lust after. So in Matthew 26 and verse 41, I'm going to read that. And it reads, "Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." Okay, so it says watch and pray. And it's other scriptures, 1 Corinthians, I'm not going to read them all. 1 Corinthians chapter 16 and verse 13, and Colossians chapter 4 and verse 2, it all tells us to watch. So watch yourself. When this person come around, what do you automatically think? Do you imagine him doing things to you, or do you see him? Do you undress him with your eyes? What do you do? Or do you think, you know what? He's a very intelligent guy. What do you think when you see that person? You know what I'm saying? So, because some things that we do, if we don't acknowledge them, we do them unconsciously. And because I found myself doing, I can honestly say that it's in our nature because I did it several times. But, it's just like, I'll say just like us, these, I'll say when I was in the world, I loved wearing tights and stuff like that, stuff that show my body. Men can do the same thing. They can put on wife beaters. They can, put on shirts that show their chest or buy a extra small shirt. They'll buy a shirt that's not their size. It's a size down from their size, and it literally shows their muscles in a different way. It makes them appear buffer. So it's just like men can highlight things, and sometimes if a woman is not so caught up in who the person really is, finding out who they are, you can literally just only fall for the physical. But I always keep in my mind, I want to treat others how they treat me. So I want to perceive a person the right way because I want them to perceive me the right way. I don't want them to automatically look at me as a physical person and that's all they want. No, get to know me for me. Baby, I'm lit. This personality is lit, So it's just society. So this society now, today, is crazy. But I can honestly say we can beat the odds. We don't have to sit up here and dwell in what's around us. You can still, be around a guy and be normal, but just examine yourself. where do your eyes go? You know, because sometimes how we view the opposite sex, you know, it can be crazy because the mindset of individuals can be poor. But build yourself up, examine yourself daily, and see how you act when you get around this person. What do you do? How do you feel? You know, talk to yourself. Oh, when he came around, you know, I got a little butterflies in my stomach. Did I think of anything sexual? You know, think of those things. You know, I truly want a person to get to know me for me. I want to get to know a person for them. You know, I see beyond that because I'm just so thankful. You know, sometimes when I think about it, you know, coming from out the world, when I came to the church, it was a pros and its cons. Because I said to myself, I done experienced a lot in the world, so I know how it feels. I know the temptation that comes with it. But then I said to myself, I'm thankful that I went through it because I know what it leads to. So I'm thankful that God let me live with the dude because, listen, honey, if you only focused on sex, you're not going to have sex with a person every day. If so, something is wrong, honey. And at the end of the day, that's not going to keep a person because although I was living with the person, I was mentally not attracted to them. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't there. You know, so at the end of the day, like, know who you are. Don't rush into anything. Examine yourself. And I'll say it just all plays a part. I really love that scripture, Matthew 26 and 41, what I just read, because it says watch and pray. Not just pray, but watch. So watching myself. I watch myself a lot because I see, you know, I'd be like, okay, I need to work on that. Okay. So being saved, it can be done. It's not impossible. Just to encourage someone in my conclusion, I'll say the questions that I asked previously, I'm going to go back and re-ask them. And just ask yourself, you know, sis, how you see that man? Do you just want to get with him for one thing? Do you really enjoy talking to him, or do you really enjoy being in his presence to look at him? Do you you don't like talking on the phone regular, but you love being on FaceTime because do you really just want to see him? Or do you want to hear him? Do you want to hear him for, you get what I'm trying to say? So the questions that I'm going to repeat are, when you look at a man, what do you think? And how long before you think sex? And my other question is going to be, what am I going to do with my eyes when I see an attractive male? You know, so just really examine yourself and keep those questions. And I really hope that this encouraged someone because at the end of the day, it happens unconsciously. But I hope that, you know, everyone have a great rest of their day. And just examine yourself after this. If you're watching, have a good day. Bye.